Good morning, everybody. Sunday, week 8, week 9. What week are we in? Somebody tell
Week
me what's
eight,
going
week
on.
eight, week eight,
Week
week eight,
8.
week eight.
I'm dying over here. Coming out of a wedding, drinking out of shoes. That's a mustache hair in my mouth. Not good. Not well. You know what else didn't go well? Our bets for Thursday night, because I'm a fucking mush. Bills -10 should have happened. That was
Just missed.
bullshit.
No,
That
just
was
missed.
bullshit. 2 straight flags on 4th down. It really, oh, dude, my mic is falling apart. God damn it. Oh my
You're
god.
off to a hell of a start today, dude.
I'm off to an awful start. Oh my god. Somebody take over. Somebody take over. Jerry Facino, please.
Yeah. Again, didn't watch the game. I don't got time for these Thursday night primetime games, especially when they're shitty. But yeah, they just missed. I had Bills -9.5, and I woke up to the news that they just missed. And Baker, I guess, tried to put something together towards the end there, and just came close. It was never a question of whether or not the Bills are going to win that game. It was just always a question of whether or not they're going to cover the 10. And 10's a lot of points, but like we were talking about, it's been covering this year. And I don't know. Was it like a miracle? Like, do they have a shot?
It was
the end?
it was two fucking like last drive. I guess second to last drive. I don't know. Bucks were on offense, and Bills got 2 straight stops on 3rd and 4th. Right? Didn't they stop them on 4th down? Facino, were you watching this?
Yeah, it was just penalty after penalty. Sometimes it just seems like the officials want to extend the game.
Yeah, they got
It's
Buffalo
like-
Wild Wings in their ear.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, oh yeah, I remember those commercials. Another just like frustrating, like stupid, like, and like it was a ticky tack. The last penalty was like a ticky tack penalty. I think it was like, it was either a face mask, it was something, but it was like after the play, it was like had nothing to like what's his face? The QB was going down regardless. Mayfield was going down. And I think in the end they like grazed the face mask on the way down or something. And they threw the flag, and that just extended the game. And I don't know. It just very frustrating to bet on. They were up by 14. They should have covered, and they didn't. So that's what the last 3 weeks of gambling's been for us. But in other news, it's the is this the Snoopy Bowl, or is that the preseason game? Would you call this the Snoopy Bowl? Jets Giants?
I've never called anything the Snoopy Bowl.
You've never heard of that?
Peanut. No.
Oh,
Because of the Met. Oh, I guess that
because
makes
it's
sense.
MetLife, you dirtbag. Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. I forgot MetLife uses Snoopy as their logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, we can call this Snoopy Bowl. I love fucking Snoopy. I'm all about that.
Why don't we let's start out with that. What do we think today?
Right
We have
into
two.
it.
We're missing our resident Giants guy, Chris. Hopefully he's going to come on at some point to talk shit.
Yeah, I think he will, based upon what we talked about. I believe he's going to be tuning in a little bit. And when he does, we'll jump back into it. But my thoughts here, and I think Pacino can agree. I'm surprised you're not at the game. And you just didn't want to go, or was it not
It's a
part?
Giants home game.
Yeah, that's really why.
So I had a question about that.
I thought about it.
Is that how it works? So if you're a Giants season ticket holder and you're a Jet season ticket holder, you don't get tickets to this game as a Jet season ticket holder?
No. However,
I'm-
I think it's going to be more Jet fans there than Giant fans.
Easily. I'm very surprised though they don't like.
Why do you
divide it
guys
up.
say
I was
that?
going to ask my friend about that.
Why do you think there's
Because
going
I
to be more
just-
Jet fans?
I just think the Jets are in a better place right now, and I mean, I don't know. I guess that really not gonna play into it. Also, shout out first timer in the chat here. I don't know if he's talking or not, but John, my man John Chambers is here. He's watching. He's a Giants fan, so he's gonna be tuning into that game. But yeah, I just think the Giants. The Giants are just in like kind of disarray right now, and I think it's wearing on their fan base, and it's really hurting morale. But whereas you look at the other side and the green and white, we have the sky's the limit here. We're 500 after the bye. If we win today, the whole conversation, like everything changes if we win today. And it's not really that
Exactly.
meaningful of a game, but like a win today means that okay, we're doing something now. Like the gloves are off, we're ready to roll. And I think I laid it out. I was talking. I think I said it here, but I was talking at work the other day, and bunch of my coworkers told me I was just an insanely delusional fan and a homer. But if you look at the Jets' schedule, they win today. I'm not going to call it an easy win because obviously they're the Jets, so something fucky's going to happen. I don't know. Like that's why I'm afraid of the spread. We'll talk about that more when we get into gambling. But you got the Giants today. We're going to call that a win. got the Chargers next week. We're gonna call that a win because the Chargers stink. I don't care what anybody else says. I know they have the weapons. But the Chargers stink. You got the Raiders the week after that. The Raiders suck. That's a win. You got the Bills. Bills is going to be a loss because they're going to be out for blood. They're looking for revenge from week 1. I understand that. We'll write that off. That's 3-1 in the next 4. Then we got the Dolphins. I don't know how that Dolphins game is going to go. The Dolphins, we're starting to see it now. The Dolphins are they're starting to show their true colors where they might be frauds. They might not be for real because you got to look at they've only beaten, actually they haven't beaten a good team, right? All they do is beat up on the shit teams, and when they play then when they play the good teams, they lose. So
they lost to the Eagles. Yeah, they lost to the Eagles.
Yeah. So the Dolphins, there might be a conversation to be had about the Dolphins there. Commanders win. Browns, that's going to be a little bit of a shaky game. We'll see what kind of state they're in come week 17. And then we got the Pats week 18. That's going to be a big game. If we can beat the Pats week 18, we're looking at like fucking, I don't know, how many games do we have left? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. We're looking at a solid like 9-2 in the next 11 weeks, I think. Is that hopeful? Is that delusional? Yeah, probably. But a man can dream.
What would that make your record? 13.
We're 3-3 right now. So yeah, we'd walk out of there at about 12-3.
So Jets winning 12 games. That's where you're at.
12. I would set the line at 10, give or take. Like for all those people that took over, I think the preseason line was at 10.5. Might have been 11. But if the line, I looked at it. I'm a small bettor, so there was no money in there for me. If I was going to throw 20 on that, it would have only paid like $10 or whatever. Yeah, it wasn't crazy, but I think they're going to beat. I think they're going to exceed their win total. I think we're looking at least 10. 12 might be a little bit delusional, but I think we're looking at least 10 here.
Okay. I could subscribe to 10 wins, 10-7.
I think that's a playoff spot, given how the AFC East looks.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what, Jerry? That's why when I was talking week 1, when the Jets lost to the Cowboys, or when they lost Rodgers and they go and they play the Cowboys, of all the times to play an NFC opponent, that's the best time. Because if you're gonna lose, like you want to lose to the Cowboys. You know, the Eagles is fine to lose to. The Giants is a fine, honestly, like if we're gonna lose a game, I would rather lose it to an NFC team because
I don't want
that's not how.
Giants.
I know I don't want to lose to the Giants, but it's just one of those things where those games just matter less. Like it doesn't affect your how you get it doesn't affect the standings essentially, and it actually helps you if you go 11-5, you lose to those teams. Guess what? You're probably making the playoffs because you probably beat the other teams, and you're gonna have the better you have all those tiebreakers. So I think the Jets are gonna make the playoffs. Why the hell not? I mean, they have a great defense, and a good defense with a guy that doesn't turn the ball over makes the playoffs, and that was kind of the argument we had for a while
last year.
Yeah,
last year, you look at last year's team. Last year's team was a great defense with an offense that couldn't do anything. Now our offense is starting to. I'm not going to say they're firing on all cylinders because that's not the case. We still have a very mediocre offense, but we took a step up to go to be that team that has a great defense. That is just like and the defense wins the games. Don't get me wrong, but last year we were in a position where the offense was just so non-existent that it fucked us, that we couldn't string together enough points just to get ahead and let our defense hold them. That's not the case this year. Now we can get something a little bit going on offense. And even if we can't score in the goal zone, if you will, fucking shout out Hackett, we can still kick. We'll kick field goals with Zerline all day long, and that's fine. And we're just going to be on the board, and the defense is going to go out there and get the big stops like they've been doing, and we're going to have the lead, and we're going to win. It won't be pretty, but a win's a win. It's not. Fuck, I just started watching Shores. I forgot what to say. It's not how. Never mind. I'm not even gonna try to butcher the quote, but yeah, wins are wins. It doesn't have to be pretty. Just gotta win.
It's not gonna be pretty today because, of course, it's raining at MetLife Stadium on a Sunday. So that's one thing. Give the guy experience in the rain. It stopped rain.
Yeah, it stopped. I was just outside. It stopped.
It's just gloomy. It's just not. Yeah. It's overcast. It's not really good weather. It's not downpouring, but it's not. It's gonna. The field's gonna be wet.
Yeah, it's gonna pick up again. Yeah. Well, Giants won last week, right? They beat the Commanders. Yeah, they beat the Commanders at home. Chris was at that game. Good game to be at. I would lean Jets. I would definitely lean Jets. The Jets, shockingly, have shown more or a better definition of consistency than the New York Giants have been, in terms of good consistency. So this is a game. If I'm betting on it, I'm betting money line. I don't like Don't like the spread.
Yeah,
I don't like the 3 points.
I agree.
I think you guys either win by a good margin, or like if you win, you're either winning by a good margin or you're going to squeak it out and last minute field goal or something. But I don't know. This has the tale of just like odd scoring written all over it. Like gloomy
Hands
day,
down.
MetLife, fucking everyone's hammered in the stands going nuts.
It would stink, but there's a solid chance we're looking at a 9-6 game today. It would suck, but there's a solid chance that happens.
What's the over-under?
Caesars has it
34 and a half.
Yeah, Caesars has it very, very low.
Holy shit. Dude, a lot of overs have not been hitting this year.
It hasn't been the same NFL that it's been with the air raid and the high scoring and everything. Yeah, this year has been low scoring.
You know why? Because these freaking defensive ends get better every year. Like every team has a great DN that just destroys a tackle every week. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like, do you really want to spend the money? And it's kind of a crazy thing to think about, but if you can get a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence that can utilize those out routes and pre-snap reads to know where to go with that ball, why invest in the offensive line? Because they're just going to get bitched anyway. And I've seen this like over and over.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
I mean, I guess in the running game, but like
strongly.
If
you have Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker at both anchors of your line, like look at some of the best offenses in the NFL: Detroit, Philly, Kansas City. Those guys, they have anchors. They have anchors in front of the quarterback. Like, yes, like the DNs are so good, they will get a sack a game and they'll figure it out, whatever. But like, it's one thing to get one sack in a game. It's another thing to be totally disruptive and be in the quarterback's face all day. And that's what happens when you have a bad offensive line. Like, that's why and there's also a theory, a lot of people, like the Cincinnati Bengals subscribed to this for a long time, that like they used to just say that they were not going to pay for interior offensive line. They weren't going to pay for it.
Dude, that's the backbone of your team. Those are the guys who make the most money, like unknowingly, because no one knows their names. But like, offensive.
No, your guards and center don't make the most. No, your interior offensive
line
lines
for a while.
They do, but they don't make the most. It's your tackles. Your tackles are your money makers. It's your tackles. It's like it's your quarterback. Nowadays, honestly, it's your quarterback's the highest paid. Then probably your best pass rusher, whether it's a D end, a D tackle, the outside linebacker, whatever it may be. Your best pass rusher is probably the second highest paid. After that, probably your left tackle or like a wide receiver, and then it kind of scatters at that point. Safeties are making more money than they've ever made. If you have a good corner, which is like how many teams actually have good corners? The only good corners in the league are still on a rookie deal. Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain.
Yeah.
Right? You're not paying for those guys, so.
No, Sauce is going to get a bag.
Is Sauce gonna turn the ball over today?
I hope so.
Facino just fucking, that dick hit the top of the fucking desk, didn't it?
Dude, because you know what it is? Like, it's funny, like, you know who else didn't get a lot of interceptions?
Revis. They don't throw to him.
Exactly.
They're scared of him. Yeah, they don't throw to him.
But I will say this, though. Like, when the ball did get thrown to Revis, he caught it. Sauce needs to catch it. Maybe, I mean, it's just hard. When you don't see anything, you just have no repetition. You don't have no practice of it, you know?
Yeah.
And then when it finally comes, you're like, oh, my God, they actually threw the ball to me. And it happens. You know, the best guys always don't get the most picks.
Going through the chat right now, Ralphie Buffalo.
Buffalino.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Ralphie says that he would rather face Jones than Tyrod Taylor, and I am inclined to agree with that because I think Tyrod is giving the G-men more momentum than what they had, and they're giving him a better look. They've won a couple games under him. He's looking okay. You know, he's doing something. I don't know what's going on. He figured out fucking Darren Waller. If you look, I was just scrolling through ESPN looking at the Giants, like, stats or everything. As of right now, Darren Waller is the most yards for most receiving yards of the team right now, which you wouldn't think about because from a fantasy perspective, the guy's been non-existent minus it was tight ends day last week. Yeah, it was last week. Minus last week, the guy's been pretty non-existent from the scoreboard, but he's the highest. He has the most receiving yards, which is very shocking to me. And I think with Tyrod under center here, for whatever reason, he has it more figured out than Danny Dimes, and that's gonna be like. As a Giants fans, I wish Chris was here because we could bounce it off him. But their heads must be in a fucking whirlwind right now because, like, you pay this guy so much money, he's just not doing anything. And it's no slide on Dimes. I like Danny Dimes, but like, I don't know. This is a strange situation for the
I
Giants
think
fans here.
I think if you're a New York Giants fan right now, you're doing what Detroit Lions fans were doing 2 seasons ago when we didn't think Jared Goff was the guy. And you're watching a lot of college football right now. If you're a Giants fan, you're watching a lot of college football. And I don't mean that. I do not. That is not a shot at the Giants. It's not a shot at the fan base. Like you gotta be honest with yourself. Okay. Jones is probably not the guy. And that doesn't mean that he's awful. That doesn't mean that doesn't excuse his line. That doesn't excuse the receivers he's throwing to. Absolutely not. No. But when a guy like Tyrod Taylor, who is a journeyman backup, right? Like a guy that's had a little bit of success, had some nice runs, but like even this little run that he's on here, it's going to come to a close. At some point, he's going to hit that brick wall. And maybe today, maybe it's the Jets defense. Maybe I'm talking myself into getting the Jets at -3 or getting the Jets at a money line bet today. Yeah, maybe that's what I'm doing because I'm fucked in the head. But like, if you're a Giants fan, you're watching guys like Caleb Williams. You're watching Drake May. You're watching Shador, but I don't think Shador's coming out. I think he's playing one more year. Like,
Do you think they wait? Do you think they wait and pick up Arch Manning if they can?
No, it's going to be too long. It's going to be way too long.
Yeah, it would take 3 years.
You don't think they could do 2 more years of Dimes?
No.
The problem is that in the NFL, like, if you go 2 more years with Dimes, then you don't have a job. So then it doesn't even matter who that player is. Yeah. And look, I mean, Daniel Jones, nobody wants to admit it, but sometimes when you've been there, you know. So I've been there. Like, Blake Bortles is exactly who he was. He couldn't throw the ball, but he used his legs. And when you use your legs, you become more efficient. And efficiency with a good defense, you don't turn the ball over. All of a sudden, you make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then, that is like one of the worst things that can happen.
Tannehill.
But doesn't it set you back? It feels like it sets you back more than if you didn't have anybody, because at least you're building for a future where you could have like a Super Bowl potential. Like with the Giants, they never had a Super Bowl potential. They were always rebuilding. The guy had a decent year and they played well on defense, but he didn't have like a great quarterback year. And that's what I was trying to understand, like with Giant fans that would talk about how like, oh, this guy's great. He does this, he does that. It's like, yeah, but Bortles was good too in that way. Like he ran the RPOs, he ran the options as a quarterback, and he was getting like 6 yards a carry on the on his feet. He would throw 20 touchdowns a year, and he would throw some picks, but it was like the picks and the fumbles, they were just like, they would mount on top of each other, and you knew that he wasn't going to give you a chance. Now you go and look at the Giants' schedule this year. They scored 0 against the Cowboys. They beat the Cardinals. I don't know how they did it, but he did have a decent game there. They scored 12 points against the Niners, 3 points at home against the Seahawks, 16 points against the Dolphins, and 9 against the Bills. I think it was Tyrod. But Daniel Jones hasn't been able to do anything this year. So I don't care how bad your offensive line is. You can't score 0, 3, and 12. 2 of those games being at home. Cannot do it. I mean, I don't care how much you get paid. And now you got to deal with how much you did pay him. And that's why it sucks, because they're lucky that there was no quarterbacks in the draft for them to take. The Jaguars could have took Lamar Jackson, and they paid Blake Bortles. So it could have been worse. But I think it is time to move on. Neck injuries are not they're not forgiving. So I don't know if he's even going to come back this year. So just good riddance.
It doesn't sound that bad though, as far as the neck injury goes. Sounds like he's ready to play.
I think that they're dragging this out because they want to see what Tyrod could do.
It's also crazy to me
Selfishly.
the divide on Giants fans. You talk to Giants fans, they're either very much behind Dimes or they fucking want him out of here. But those guys who are behind Danny Dimes will die for Danny Dimes. It's crazy.
Facino, when you said, it stuck out to me about setting you back, a quarterback like that could set you back. I think the only time it sets you back is when you convince yourself. When you convince yourself, because when Danny Jones was just playing on a rookie deal, like you're not really setting yourself back because you're not paying him anything, right?
Yeah.
Like when Tannehill, Tannehill, I guess I don't think he ever really made a lot of money in Tennessee, but I could be wrong about that. I think, like I said, it's convincing yourself. It's almost like this. It's like dating a girl that I don't know, everybody kind of hates, but she's hot and you convince yourself. Like, that's what that is. Like, it's one thing to kind of date her for a little while and then, okay, you realize it's a mistake, you break up. It's another thing to double down and get her a ring. It's the same thing with these quarterbacks, right? These quarterbacks that, like, you're like, well, and then you start convincing yourself, like, well, that check down looks pretty good. And like, oh, well, hey, he didn't throw a touchdown today, but he didn't fumble and he didn't turn the ball over. So like, yeah, he had a really nice throw in the third quarter on that 2nd and 10. Like, that's what you start to do. And that's what the Giants kind of did with Daniel Jones, is that but also with the Giants, like, there was nothing else for them to do. They had made the playoffs. They had won a playoff game. You couldn't tear it all down again. Like, so I kind of understood why they signed him, but that is when it sets you back. It sets you back when he's off that rookie deal and you give him $40 million a year. That's when it sets you back. Because now you can't even afford to bring in other talent to make up for his mistakes. Like, that's the problem. You could remember how good Mark Sanchez looked in New York for 2 years? Why? Because Mark Sanchez had probably the best offensive line I've ever seen in my life blocking for him, okay? Without a doubt. Okay, that offensive line.
And fucking Mangold.
They
Mangold. They had Faneca. They had Dwayne. What's his name?
They literally revived LaDainian Tomlinson's career.
Damian Woody.
That man was like 1 foot out the door, and all of a sudden, just like that, he looked like fucking Madden 07 LaDainian Tomlinson again, which was crazy,
LT
right? So
Jet was fantastic. LT Thomas Jones, that was a great team.
Right. Sean Green, all those guys. Like, Mark Sanchez looked so good because his job was, here's the ball, man. Don't fuck up. Just don't fuck up. Don't turn it over. And then just like Giants fans are doing now with Daniel Jones, well, did last year, Jets fans were kind of like, hey, this Mark Sanchez guy is pretty good. And the whole time, he was drafted the same year as Stafford. So I'm watching both guys, and I'm like, it's not even comparable. What do you mean? Yeah. No, Sanchez isn't good. He's playing behind all pros, and Matt Stafford is running for his life in the shotgun every play. That's why he's getting hurt.
Was he drafted before or after Stafford?
Stafford was first overall. Sanchez was what, 7?
Now, if Lamar could have been had for 3 or 4 first-round picks in March, I to this day,
Facino, dude,
I don't
that's nuts.
I know.
That's
I'm just saying. I don't care.
That's so many. I think you could have bought it for.
But you know what else sets you back? I'll tell you what sets you back. This is the conversation we had with
we're
the
talking
Jets
about the Giants.
I know. I'm saying the Giants too, because the Giants they needed a quarterback potentially. They were going to have to pay Jones. So if you're going to have to pay Jones, why not pay Lamar Jackson? If you can stomach it, does it really matter how many first-round picks you give up? Because if you draft well, second-round picks play well, third-round picks play well, fourth-round picks play well, and first-round picks, just like every other pick, is a 50-50 chance. Obviously, it goes down as the the second, third round goes on, but that first round, about 50% of those guys may make one Pro Bowl. So you're telling me that out of 32 guys, you got to pick one of those guys that's going to make one Pro Bowl, and you might not even be that great after that. So how many guys are really?
The odds
good?
got to be higher than that, Facino.
Go look back.
The way I look at it,
they're actually not. Only like 50% of first round picks make Pro Bowls.
Make just one Pro Bowl?
Make one.
He's right, dude. I always feel like that. Like the higher you draft it, like when was the last time you seen I'd say the first top 10 picks skills position wise? When was the last time you saw something pan out? You watch all these quarterbacks get drafted so high. And they're just always
because quarterbacks are overdrafted. Quarterbacks are overdrafted. You have Will Levis. Will Levis went the top of the second round last year. He should not. Will Levis, to me, is a 5th, 6th round talent. Will Levis was not good at Kentucky. Like, he wasn't. He was him and I mean, I guess Richardson wasn't the best at Florida. Now he looks pretty good here. But Will Levis wasn't that great. But he went early because he's a quarterback. Because quarterbacks are so expensive and it's so hard to find that you take a chance on these guys. You know?
Now, what if you had a sample size of 10 years? And this is the other thing. If you were the Saints right now, you set yourself back. However many years you want to say you set them back, the second you signed Derek Carr, and we had this conversation with the Jets too, you set yourself back. So the Jets had no choice.
But they did get first-round picks from Denver, right? What did they get for hiring Sean Payton? Remember how Sean Payton had to be traded?
I don't know if it was a first. I think it was a second or a third.
The Saints had rights to Sean Payton.
I didn't
So-
know
that trade. But still, I mean, I don't think that like for the Jets particularly, you get Aaron Rodgers, you have a chance at the Super Bowl. You
someone's
get
at the
Derek
house.
Carr, and you go into it this
Be right back,
abyss.
boys.
Huh?
Keep going. Keep going. You're
You
good.
just enter an abyss of mediocrity, and it's like, okay, maybe we win a playoff game, and then what? And then you lose in the divisional round, and then does Derek Carr fool you into now believing that he can get you farther? And I don't know if I want to go down that road anymore because we've been down the road, man. Not that we all, we never really get to it often, but with Sanchez, we were down that road. It's like we had the team and we didn't have the quarterback, so we had no chance. And that's not fair. At least give me the guy that can give me a chance. And if the team, if the other team wants to run for 250 yards on us and we just had no chance that day, I'll take that over, not give myself a chance at all.
Who did we
So-
lose to? Was it the Steelers both years?
No, it was the Colts and then the Steelers. And the Steelers game, Sanchez kind of lost us the Colts game because we were up 17-3 and we kind of took our foot off the pedal and we didn't he was just a rookie. The second year we lost because the defense and Sanchez got us into a serious hole, and then Sanchez started playing well. We got out of the hole, and then we finally were like within a score, and the defense couldn't get a stop. And if they could have got one stop, then
Joe
we would have
Beningo.
had a good chance.
Joe Beningo still brings up Mark Sanchez, still to this day.
Yeah.
And he'll still be like, I still believe that guy could have been a great quarterback. I believe it. He had those 2 great years with the Jets.
They weren't great.
I don't
though.
know about that. They
weren't
were
great.
those. I was. That team was great between the Hard Knocks. We had Rex Ryan. We had that
Yeah.
defense. We had, like you said, we had a legitimate. Like there are 3 Hall of Fame players on that offensive line. I believe. Brick and Mangold are both in, and then there's one more I think that is on the cusp.
Big,
But still,
not to interrupt you, Jerry. We have another viewer. Big shout out to Angelica. She's a fan of the program.
Hell yeah.
She's jumping in the chat. She's a Giants fan. Probably
9-6.
not high in the Giants.
9-6.
She's not high in the Giants. I can tell you that. I can feel her blood pressure through YouTube right now. And she's got some money on the Lions tomorrow.
There'll be a brick going through that TV in the fourth quarter.
Stevie Mack, thanks for tuning in again. Saints got a 2023 and 2024. So a 2023 first rounder and a 2024 second rounder. Denver got Peyton and a third rounder. Jesus Christ.
Wow.
The Saints won that.
The Saints won that trade.
So how did Denver? I thought Denver traded that 24 first round pick for what's his name? For
Wilson?
Russell Wilson. I guess not.
I don't know.
They just don't care about first round picks. And you know what? That's a shitty way to get rid of first round picks. The Rams did it the right way. If you want to not go and join the crapshoot, all right, get some players. But what they did is ridiculous.
Well, the Rams sold their soul. And you know what, man?
got
Like, I commend them
worked
for
out.
that. It worked out. That was a
And
trade.
even now, dude, they're treading water right now. The
Right.
Rams have no reason, no business.
Well, because they have a quarterback.
I'm not going to call them good
And a
yet.
coach.
I'm not going to call them good, but they're they're looking all right now. Like the Rams are doing better than they should be.
If you told pretty much any fan base, like you told me as a Lions fan, you as a Jags fan, you as a Jet fan, or Chris as a Giants fan, like, well, Chris has already seen 2 Super Bowls, but like, you always want more, right? So if you're telling me, like, hey,
I'd take one.
sell your soul and it'll be 5 years of dog shit, but you'll get your time in the sun. Like, dude, I will fucking sign up. That's I guess because it does bring us back to trade talk because the deadline's in 2 days here. It's on Halloween, 4 p.m. Eastern time. But like, this is the argument I keep having with other Lions fans, and they just keep telling me, and I'm not calling them crazy for it. I get it. They tell me that they don't want to mortgage the future. And I understand that. I totally understand that, man. But like,
You have no reason to right now. Everything is looking good for you guys to build on this and be. I don't want to call you dominant,
but also
you have
like,
future here.
if you're also telling me that you could bring in a guy that's going to like, for example, I keep seeing Brian Burns. If Brian Burns, like, if the cost of Brian Burns is a first round pick, then you have to just suck it up and do it. And I don't want to give away first round picks either. But like, as a Lions fan, and Facino, probably same way as with the Jags here, you saw that one trip to the AFC Championship. But like, if you have a chance,
They gave you a hand job and then walked away midway.
Yeah.
It was like, it's
over the
terrible.
pants. Now
Over
you're
the
just
pants.
mushing it. You're mushing
Nothing.
it. But like,
Horrible.
if you have your chance, you gotta take it. You have to take it. You can't always say like, well, next year, because you don't know what's going to happen next year. You saw it with the Jets. 4 plays in, that guy just snapped his Achilles. And yes, the Jets are doing fine right now, but like that's how delicate an NFL season can be. And it's a violent game. You have no idea what is going to happen next year. So you know what? I'm all for the picks. I love the picks. I love low cost and high talent. I get that. But like strike while the iron's fucking hot. Strike while the iron's hot. You went out, you beat the Chiefs on week 1. Yeah, you got your ass handed to you in Baltimore. That's fine. It's an AFC game. Doesn't matter. But like, if you're Detroit right now, those picks aren't as important. Like, this is the one chance, probably since like 91 or 93 when they, I think 91 when they won the division. They wound up in the NFC Championship. Like this team has been around since 1934. And there's one playoff win since 1957. Like, we've never seen a team this good. We really haven't in Detroit. So strike while the iron's hot. Sell your soul if you have to. I don't give a shit. Sell your fucking soul.
Tell this to your buddies in Detroit, Matt. There is no future in the NFL.
No.
You look at this 53-man roster you have right now, okay? And then fast forward, or even just rewind and say, well, how many of those guys that were on my 53 last year are on my 53 this year? And you'll see that there's always 20 different guys.
Yeah.
So you're only bringing 60% of your roster back every year if you really think about it. So
also,
where is the future? The future is right now, and stay healthy. If you're healthy, get guys. If you're not, then figure it out. But,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Pask, I think to your point here too, I think I've said this before, so I hate to sound like a broken record. And it totally contradicts what I said before. But also, you guys have your base here. You got all your first round.
We have the
picks,
foundation.
And they're starting to develop, and they're starting to look good. You don't need. I'm gonna use the word reacher. You don't need to be reaching anymore for top of the line first round talent. You have all you need. So if you're, especially this year, if you're gonna walk out going into the draft, let's say you get like the 24th pick or the 26th pick or something like that, like a higher end pick or something. If you ship that out and you get a guy like Brian Burns, you're building, what are you going to pick with the 26th pick? If you rather bring in an already developed player and have him ready
that's
to go
my
for
other
the next
point
couple
too.
of years.
Like,
I totally see where you're coming from.
What I'm telling,
that could be a good move.
What I'm telling Lions fans is I'm like, we're not picking in the top 10. Like, not this year. Not this year, we're not. So you're not going to find an Aiden Hutchinson. You're not going to find a Penei Sewell because you're not picking that high to get one of those guys. And you know what? Brad Holmes found Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 4th round, right?
Yeah.
That's a starter. That was a day 1 starter. Malcolm Rodriguez, who hasn't been fantastic, but was a 6th round pick. He is a starter for us. So
I forgot about Rodrigo. Rodrigo was a dog.
I'm not saying that like fuck them picks, but dude, sell your fucking soul because you don't know when this type of shit. It doesn't happen often in Detroit. I mean, in Detroit sports as a whole, but especially as a Lions fan, this type of shit doesn't happen. Brad Holmes, make that call. Give us Brian Burns, please. And if you can't do that, Chase Young, Montez Sweat, you got to figure something out.
They're out there.
You got to figure something out. You cannot.
It's also different though compared to the Rams.
Maybe.
The way the Rams did it, the Rams went after A-list players here. They had big names, and that was that. Like, you're not, and that's how you mortgage your future. I think if you're walking away with this, where you pick up 1, maybe 2 bigger names with an already established, younger roster that's not exactly the end all be all. Like, Jared Goff is your quarterback. It's not like I love Jared, but I'm not going to sit here and call him a first ballot Hall of Famer like Matt Stafford might be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, you don't have the Rams when they were making their runs. The Rams had top of the line talents with big ass names all around the board, and that's how they got rid of everything. With you guys, if you could just get rid of a first round and a second round in the next like 2 or 3 years or whatever, so what? And then, like you were saying before, draft deeper. The Lions obviously know how to find these hidden gems in deeper rounds of the play. Like you said before, with Amon-Ra. Amon-Ra is one of the best receivers in the game today. And he was 16 receivers before him, or whatever, however fucking names that he spouts off before every game. Guy's a stud. If you can find these gems in these later rounds, you don't have to worry about mortgaging your picks. Sure, take my 26th overall pick. We don't fucking need it. We'll pick up the next great thing at pick 560. Doesn't matter, you know?
And you know what? What's the 26th overall pick? I'll tell you what it winds up being. The Panthers drafted Brian Burns at 16 overall, right? Now, if you wanted to trade, if you're a team that's going to the playoffs and you think you're going to be good for a few years, If you want to trade for Brian Burns, it's going to cost you 2 first-round picks, most likely. Okay, so the Panthers in
You really
2014.
think 2 first-round picks for him?
I think he's amazing.
I think that'll be Pat Surtain. I don't think.
All right, so let's say it's a first and a third, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let's say it's first and a second. Just to play along to like the point. Let's say they really do get 2 firsts, right? And you pick 28th. Well, when the Panthers picked 28th and 14, they got Kelvin Benjamin, and then they got Shaq Thompson, and then they got Vernon Butler. Those were all picks between 25 and 30. Do you think you'd rather have Brian Burns or those guys as rookies on a team that's trying to make it to the Super Bowl? I would rather have Brian Burns 100 times out of 100. Not only that, I now save on my rookie pool, so I have a little bit more cap space, and I don't have to worry about my edge rusher. I know that if I have a lead, which I should have a lead with that offense, that I'm going to win. You know, I got a guy coming off the edge. It's going to force a fumble, wreak havoc. Like, I think it's so funny how teams cling on to these draft picks. Like, dude, losers draft in the first round. That's what happens. Losers, not winners. I don't remember the last time Patriots drafted in the first round. You know, Rams have been winning. I don't remember them.
Patriots also are horrific at drafting, though.
And it plays back to what we were saying. When you draft, like going back to the quarterback situation, like we were saying, how they're overdrafted and all this and everything. They have to be overdrafted, but they're getting drafted to the Cardinals or the Texans or all these bottom of the barrel teams who just have a shit organization. You see what the Browns, how many first overall pick fucking quarterbacks the Cleveland Browns have that just didn't work out because they're such a dumpster fire of an organization. You know, like it's not and that's I'm fucking sick of the what's the quarterback from USC's name?
Oh, Caleb Williams.
Yeah. I'm sick of his shit. I'm over him. I hate him, and I think he's tanking his own draft stock, and rightfully so. But he's going to go to a team, and he's spoken out about this. He doesn't want to he doesn't want to be a first overall pick because he doesn't want to go into a bad fucking situation that they're staking everything on him, and they think he's going to be the end all be all to turn around the situation. But meanwhile, the organization itself is going to do nobody no favors and not build a team around him and just rely heavily on him to be the guy, and he can't be the guy with everything he has around him.
I can't
get fucked.
I can't understand how Caleb Williams is allowing all this like talk around his name, like people claiming that he wants a stake in ownership, and
I think it's because he wants to tank his stock. I was thinking about this the other day. I think it's because he doesn't want to go first overall.
Well, you know what? I don't know about that, but I know he'll make a lot more money in college.
But I think. Yeah, it's money out of his pocket, but I think if he's going to go, he wants to go to a team where he can compete. You know, money's great.
If he goes first overall, if he goes top 5, top 10, he'll make more than he will in college. He's making like 2.9 right now.
But Matt, if USC was undefeated right now, he'd be making a lot more money, and that's the problem. That's why
they have 2 losses.
I feel like tanking his stock, like maybe he's socially tanking his stock, but when you're 9-0 as Caleb Williams, if you're 10-0. And you're in the Pac-12 championship and you win in a great game, that next week your endorsements, you're going to be on commercials, you're going to be all over the place. And that's why NIL is so great. That's why, as much as I like Shedeur Sanders, and I think he should come out, I don't think he's coming out because he's going to make $8 million next year in the NIL. Why come out? Get some more years of experience. You'll be a higher draft pick. And then, you know, because this is such a big quarterback class, like even if he's the 5th best quarterback, he's probably not going to go in the top 10 because there's a lot of quarterbacks that are better than him right now. But not next year. Not next year. So he'll get that NIL stuff.
But I don't think he's going to be good in the NFL. I'm not going to die on that hill. There's definitely room for me to be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But I can't see Shedeur Sanders succeeding. And I know we had this conversation before. He's a both pocket passer and a Michael Vick-esque type guy. But I don't know. I think he's small. We'll see. But I can't really see him being successful in the NFL.
Yeah, he reminds me of like a Josh Allen light. Like a little bit less heavy Josh Allen that won't be running those power runs, but I think he has the arm, honestly.
All right. We went off on a tangent there. That's my fault.
Yeah, we're feeling
Jags Steelers. That's in Pittsburgh. -2.5. Jags.
Trap game.
Jags are favorites.
It's definitely a trap game.
You think, Fasino? You think your boys take a L today?
No, I just think that it's tough with if you're in Jacksonville situation, Pittsburgh's a very hard place to play, and it's going to rain. Trevor Lawrence isn't the best quarterback in the rain. the only saving grace they have is that the Jaguars just own the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. They don't lose in Pittsburgh. So it's been a trend for a while. They've been to 2 playoff games. They went to Pittsburgh, beat them both times. I think they have good mojo over there. So I think they'll win. The Jaguars defense is so good. People like sleep on them. Everyone hates Trayvon Walker because of where he was picked, but he fits the defense well, and I'm very excited to see that defense.
It hurts him. It hurts him that Aiden Hutchinson is so good.
Yeah, if Aiden Hutchinson was a regular guy, nobody would care because Trayvon's good. Like he just isn't what everybody wants. He's not fucking like Mark Gastineau, but he can't be, and he never will be, and you just gotta accept it. It's just something that's gonna literally be a narrative for like the rest of our lives. Right. So.
Well, that's what happens when you're in a draft. It's almost like when we look at quarterbacks, right? Like if you're a quarterback, you're compared to the other quarterbacks of your draft. Same thing. That was a draft where you had 3 big name pass rushers coming out all at once, and you knew that they were all going to be compared to each other between Thibodeau, Hutchinson, and Trayvon. And
so the other thing with drafting that guy is that the Jaguars needed to stop Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor and whoever the Texans always run out. So you have to do that for your own team. And when you're a GM, like, look, they're human. If they weren't winning last year, Trent Baalke was gone. So he needed to draft the guy that was going to help him, win now. And I think that's why they made that pick.
Steelers have some momentum going into this game too. I understand the whole Jags own us and all that stuff at home at Heinz Field. Fuck Asher Stadium, whatever it's called now. It's Heinz Field.
Ketchup bottle.
But dude, the Steelers, I don't think the Steelers are a good team here, but for whatever reason, they're kind of making chicken salad out of chicken shit with what they have, and they're doing all right. Kenny Pickett hasn't been the strongest. Their game's been whatever, but they're 4-2, and they have a big win against the Ravens under their belt, and they're kind of rolling here. This game really scares me. I want to throw the Jags onto my parlay that we'll get into in a little bit, but I don't want to touch this game with a 10-foot pole because I don't know what's going to happen here.
It's Mike Tomlin, man. He's inevitable, and he's just a great coach. You watch his you go on and watch the sounds of the game from the Steelers, and it's just he really epitomizes how great of a motivator the guy is. Like hitting up guys that are on special teams. Like, all right, you get yours standard to standard. Like focus wins games. Like get your opportunity when you get that. Like capitalize. Like telling guys individually. Like there's other coaches that are not. They're not like that. They're in their heads in the play sheet the whole game. Like they're not interacting with their players.
He's also got like great meme material.
That too.
Best. But we do not care. We do not care. That's the best fucking. I'm laughing to myself. No one else is laughing.
Nah, I get it. I remember that one. He's a fucking the great motivator, and you can't stop relentlessness. Sometimes a defense they need to be motivated and they need to get something. Someone's got to get them going. Sometimes like a pass rush isn't just talent. It's hunger. So that's why a guy's such a freaking great coach. Mm-hmm. And that's why he takes a bad team to 500, and that's what he does. So we'll see. It's always tough playing the Steelers,
especially at Heinz Field. You get hit with that Renegade, it's fucking over.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. When the Jags played the Steelers in 2017, I went to the game, and the Jags were winning the whole game. And this was when Ryan Shazier got hurt, and he came back to the stadium, and they showed him during the Renegade song in the fourth quarter, and I thought we were gonna fucking lose. Like that, this stadium was like you could feel the volume. It was crazy. So that they care about their football team there. So we'll see.
I think you've convinced me enough. I'll probably take Jacksonville money line. Now I'm getting a text. Do you like the over or under in the Jets game? Do you guys like the over or the under in the Jets game here?
34.5 is that's really low. 34.5 is really low, and I don't know.
I'd be scared to touch it.
At the current 34, I would maybe buy it down 2 or 3 points and take the hit on the plus minus. Yeah. Take it, buy it down to like 30, 31 and take the over. At that rate, I think it's obviously, I'd assume that, let me pull up the book here. I'm assuming that what it's at right now at the 34 is probably minus 110. Hang on.
Well,
where is it? Yeah, so over 34.5 right now is minus 105. You buy that down to 30, it brings you to 30. Over 30.5 is minus 200. minus 30, over 32.5 is minus 162. So if you're cool with losing a little bit on the plus minus, I'd buy that down. I'd take the over because that's fucking 15 points a team. Now, you're gonna tell me they can't do that, and even if it's not 15 points a team, let Breece Hall run over the Giants defense and just fucking 2-touchdown game for Breece Hall today. Calling it now.
That's the issue with the over under is that Breece Hall is so fucking good, and if the Jets score a defensive touchdown, it could go way over. The Jets might just mop them. Honestly, it's crazy to think, but they might just mop them.
Which is great too, because the last time we played them, we got our asses kicked.
Exactly. No, they actually didn't. No, the Jets beat the Giants the last 2 times. They haven't actually. The last 2 times the Giants beat the Jets, they won the Super Bowl.
What was the Christmas game? The Christmas
that
game
was 2011. That was dude. That's almost that's literally like 11 years ago.
Yeah,
isn't that crazy?
I saw that on Twitter. Somebody on the
that was high school. That was high school, boys.
Yeah. I was pissed about that loss. I was scrolling through Twitter the other day, and someone threw up an I think it was like Eli Manning to Mario Manningham or something like that. It was like a touchdown.
Victor Cruz.
It was Victor Cruz. Yeah,
the Victor Cruz game.
Ripped it open, and it was just like Jesus Christ. Yeah. I remember losing that, and like I put up a Facebook status. I'm like, well, actually, it doesn't matter who won today because the only New York team is the Bills, and I got fucking torn apart by everybody on my Facebook status.
So when did the Lions play? Monday or Sunday?
No, it's Monday night. Monday night against the Raiders.
Let's definitely jump into it because I'm seeing some trade deadline stuff I would love to talk about. But let's get into
all right.
The Lions.
Yeah, what do you got? Give me what you got.
Well, let's get into the Lions first.
I want
to know what's going on in Detroit, man. It's my third team now.
Let's go. Let's go. Butter my balls and call me Harry. Lions Raiders. It's at Ford Field. Lions are 7.5-point favorites. They're wearing their silver uniforms with the blue helmets. Very, very excited to see that. Ultimately, PowerPoints, this isn't college football, so you don't have to cover the spread. I believe they will. We're going to be missing our all-pro center, Frank Ragnow, I think.
What is it, 8.5?
7.5 now.
7.5.
It was 8.5, and then I don't know if Frank had that much of an impact on the spread, but now or maybe it was at 8, and now it's down to 7.5. David Montgomery's probably going to be out for this game too. I imagine. And Mo Ibrahim fucking dislocated his hip on the one time he touched the ball last week, so that kind of does make me start to wonder if Dalvin Cook is on the trade block. Maybe if you're Brad Holmes, maybe call up the Jets, see if they'll take a 7th rounder for Dalvin Cook. If you're going to release him anyway or throw him on waivers. I mean, I'm not saying Dalvin Cook's this great running back still, but like we need something because right now we got practice squad guys behind Jahmyr Gibbs, and Jahmyr, as talented as he is not a guy that could carry the ball 30 times in a game. It's not something you want out of his body type. You want to be able to dump it off to him a handful. I think a sweet spot for Jahmyr Gibbs is, like anywhere between 10 and 17 touches, whether that's, 10 carries and 5 passes or whatever. But you don't want him taking a lot of hits because he's not a big guy. So that's where I'm at on Dalvin Cook. My only fear in this game, honestly, Max Crosby. He's disruptive. I think he is the best edge rusher in the league right now. He's probably a heavy favorite on sites for Defensive Player of the Year. It's him and Aiden Hutchinson that are definitely leading the charge on that. But I would 100% give the honor to Max right now because he's just playing out of his mind on an awful defense. They're averaging about 16, 17 points a week. The Raiders offense. Everyone that's played them has apparently been calling out the plays before they run them. Very old.
No
outdated.
way! I didn't hear that.
The Bears were calling. They were calling out plays before they ran it, and I mean that's it. Dion talked about it this week in terms of the sign stealing scandal that's going on at Michigan and what they're accused of, and so Dion was basically like, I could mail you the game plan, but that doesn't mean, you still got to come out and stop it. And you know what? Dion's right. Absolutely. You still have to do it, right? That's the truth. I get it. But, you're at a severe disadvantage when someone knows what you're running before you run it. And it takes me back to high school when I used to have these arguments with Timmy. And I would argue with Timmy, and Timmy, they know what we're running. They know they're calling it at the line, the exact gap the ball is going to. And his response would always be, well, we should still block it. We should still, we should still block it. And I agree with you. But you know what else helps? When they don't know where the ball is going. They could know who it's going to, but we shouldn't telegraph where we're putting it, right? You're at a severe disadvantage.
I agree.
That's what's going on in Vegas right
of
now.
course I agree, but it is what it is. It's in the past.
I love Timmy. I'm not talking shit. That was always our argument. That was Wild Frogs. Carl plays Wheatley Wild Frogs.
Yeah. Let me tell you something. If you're not arguing about the play calling when you're passionate high schooler, then you're not caring about football.
Then you don't care.
Then
you don't care.
That's why we still love Tim to this day. So
all I know is that we beat the shit out of you guys twice.
Where were you? New Hyde Park?
Yeah.
I only got to play you on JV, and we. Wait, did you play? No, you were a grade above me.
We played
so you
New
must have
Hyde
been
Park.
varsity.
We lost to New Hyde Park. You know what? My junior year, we lost to New Hyde Park because the reason that we lost was because my buddy was benched because he skipped a practice the week before.
I remember this for a half.
This was
right?
actually, Jerry, this is a great story. We were winning 28-7 at some other school's homecoming game. And they pulled out the starters, and then they wound up getting an onside kick, a forced fumble, and then we fumbled, and then they wound up winning the game on a Hail Mary. So my best friend and a few other of my friends skipped the practice the next day, and he benched all of them for the New Hyde Park game.
What year was that?
That was 2012.
Okay, yeah, that was the year. Yeah, because that was the year I didn't start that year, and they put in all the we had you guys pretty good that
2011
year.
maybe.
Yeah, whatever the fall was of that year. Yeah, I think it was the fall of 2011. We beat you guys pretty good. I was on the second team, and I was the one game my buddy, shout out Matty D, scored a touchdown.
I was in the same grade as Trasolini and Paul Rio.
Oh
Those
yeah,
are my
okay.
buddies.
So you're my age. You played Chiefs?
Yeah.
Yeah, Traz is my best friend for 20 years now.
Wait, did you play Chiefs?
No.
I
played hockey. I wanted to. Do you know John Chambers? He's watching right now. He played Chiefs. He was on that team. He was a center.
Tell Trasolini I said hi.
I will.
Anyway.
Did you play for Coach Flynn? Shout out Coach Flynn, right?
Coach Flynn's. I put my jersey in his coffin. He's one of my idols, man.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
Funny story about Jerry at Facino. I don't know if I ever told you this. God rest his soul. Our good friend Chris, who passed a couple of years ago now. He used to, at parties, I don't know where this started, Facino. You probably know the backstory to this. Calling everybody Jerry. I don't know why, or where that came from, but Chris would walk around with a beer in his hand and say, Jerry, shut the fuck up. I'm like, who the fuck is Jerry? It's not.
Everybody was Jerry. And
so,
everybody will always be Jerry.
When we met Jerry, obviously Jerry's not his name, but me and my boy Vaccaro were like, nah, you look like a Jerry. You're a Jerry. And that's why we're talking to Sunny Days Jerry here, because of our friend Chris.
That's
it
awesome,
just stuck.
Yep,
isn't that amazing?
Stuck.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. So Chris's impact went a lot further than just our small town. God rest his soul. Is a great man.
Absolutely.
So Raiders Lions. I think the Lions win this. I think they cover the spread. If they don't cover the spread, I'm not super concerned. All you got to do is win in this league. No one cares how much you win by. No one cares if you blow them out or you win in overtime by a point. Does not matter. The Lions are banged up. They need this bye week that's coming up after the Raiders game. So, yeah, I want to see them win, and I want to see a trade late that night or early the next, at some point before 4 o'clock. I need a trade to go down. And we lost Jerry there. Do you have anything on this, Facino?
No, I think the Lions mop them. I think they got to get right. Raiders are a perfect team to get right, too. Honestly, it's a perfect storm for them. I think it's a home game, too, right? You said?
Yeah, it's in Detroit.
Yeah,
Monday night.
forget about it. I think it's going to be fucking packed. It's going to be blue and it's going to be loud.
There is a rumor going around that I heard from a
You got
couple
me?
of
Am
my.
I here?
Yeah, you're here. There's a rumor going around.
Trez just fucking FaceTimed me.
Oh my god.
And just threw the whole thing off. But yeah,
There's
good.
a rumor,
Go ahead,
going around in Detroit that supposedly for Monday night, Eminem might be leading them out of the tunnel. And I don't know if that's
Wow.
true, but I heard that from a couple of my buddies over there. I don't know if it's going to happen. I've also heard that if they have a home playoff game this year, he's going to do that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but I could totally see it
for the
because
playoffs.
he's been showing up to Lions game, and he's not coming as a guest. Like I think he's just buying a ticket and sitting in the suite. So like that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's where I'm at on that game. Couple other games stick out to me here. Chiefs Broncos. We were just talking about that I think before the stream. It's supposed to be snowing heavy right
Snow
now
game.
in Denver.
Snow
game.
No, it's snowing.
I think the Chiefs have like, what is it? Facino, you probably know this. Was it like 12 straight wins against the Broncos?
It's
something-
absurd.
I don't.
It's not
I
as
think
bad as the Patriots over the Jets, but it's about.
he's never. There's one of those teams. It's either like the Raiders. It's one of the teams in his division. Pat Mahomes has literally never lost to.
It's the Broncos. He,
I think it's
he has
Broncos,
lost
right?
to the Raiders.
Okay, he's never lost to this team, which is also like, why the fuck? I'm in a knockout pool. Why am I not taking that? You could recycle teams. How many times you want to pick them? And like, I feel like we should be taking the
Really?
Chiefs today. I'm taking
No.
Ravens Cardinals. Is that a smart pick? The Ravens should win in Arizona today, right?
Money
that's a
or
good pick.
spread? The spread's high.
They just
Spread's like
no,
9.5.
forget the spread. They just have to win the game.
Yeah.
Save
yeah,
your
that's
Mahomes
fine.
for like
Same-
week 10 or something.
No, we could use them as much as we want
You can recycle.
You can pick the Chiefs every week?
Yeah.
if you want to. Yeah.
That's
That's what I said. I said we should take the Chiefs. But my buddy Marty doesn't want to touch the
Any
Chiefs.
team. It's like ridiculous.
I guess
This is
we'll
a
use
good
the snow
game
as
to
the
keep 'em.
excuse.
I think they win, but I don't think they cover because initially we'll get into this when we do our picks. But I had Chiefs spread, and then I realized it was snowing and 7.5. I don't think it's going to get covered in the snow.
I do want to actually change my my thoughts about that Jaguar game. So I don't know if you guys know, but the most underrated player in the NFL from my eyeballs perspective is this guy Andre Cisco, number 5 for the Jaguars. Guy's literally Ed Reed. He's not playing, and neither is their starting cornerback, and that really bothers me. It does because those guys really tighten up the whole secondary. So it might swing Pittsburgh's way today.
Should that sway me from not taking Jags today?
No, I mean it's a crapshoot, man. It's the NFL, that's for sure. But
I'm telling you, that's a trap game, dude. I wouldn't touch that game, but it's your prerogative, your life, you're living it.
sucks to see Cisco out. It really does. Definitely hurts.
I also like Texans Panthers, man. Like Texans
I'm
are
taking the
Texans are
Texans.
sneaky
Texans
good.
are fucking awesome.
They are. They're 3.5 point favorites in Carolina. CJ Stroud might be a very good quarterback. Like
I don't think it's a might. He's down there making chicken salad out of chicken shit, dude. They don't have a good team, and he's looking awesome. I think
And you know
the
what?
Texans are building something.
for that
I'm a
matter,
big fan of that.
D'Amico Ryans might also be a legit fucking head coach too. Like
Yeah.
he's holding this thing together, man. It's everybody was like, oh, they're gonna have another top. They're not gonna have a top 5 pick. They're going to the Texans. The Texans are going to the playoffs. They're not going to win the division because the Jaguars are just a wagon. But the Texans will take a fucking wild card spot, 100%.
They don't need to win the division. If they win 7 games, they did their job. They don't need to make the playoffs. They don't need to do anything.
But I think they will.
It goes back to you guys last year and the fact where it was just like, oh, we did this. We had a great season and defied expectations. The Texans were supposed to have 1, maybe 2 wins this year. They were supposed to be a bottom of the barrel team. I think they're 4-2.
Facino, they're in your division. What do you think of them?
I think. Oh shit, my cat. Whoa, my cat's got the fucking quick twitch. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah, your pussy's running wild.
It's wild. So
No, I'm sorry. The Texans are 3-3.
no, the Texans. I like the Texans. Like I said, I never get it right with the draft picks, like with the quarterback draft picks particularly. So I thought CJ Stroud was going to kind of flop. I thought that they didn't put enough around them. And now I'm sitting here with Tank Dell starting in my fantasy team this week. And like, I think that they're a good team. What I think that helps them the most is that the Colts don't have Anthony Richardson. They have to play him twice. And the Titans are falling fast. They're in a free fall. So they can pick up wins against our division here. They already beat the Jaguars, so they're going to have a lot of AFC wins. And like we said last night, they lost to the Seahawks. They're losing to NFC teams. They're going to get better as time goes on. The rookie quarterbacks, you usually don't figure out rookies immediately. Like if he's going to get figured out, it's going to be next year. So I'm like kind of intrigued by that team. I think that they can definitely steal a wild card spot. They got to continue it.
Do the Falcons beat the Titans today?
Probably.
They're
the
in
Falcons
Tennessee.
are so sound.
Fuck
Man.
the Falcons. Fuck you, Nick Peniagua, if you're watching. Fuck the Falcons. Fuck Younghoe Koo. Fuck that team. We're not touching it today.
I thought you bet them every week.
No, not this week.
Now they're gonna win this week.
I don't like this game. I have them in my pick pool, but I don't like this game.
I need some wins, so I might do something I've never done before, and I might just start throwing money line bets on favorites, which I never do that, like ever. But I don't know.
If you're laying in, you'll get paid, but you gotta lay in.
That's what I'm saying. That's the fear. Like if you're right on it, great, you made $100. If you're wrong on it, fuck, you just lost 140, 200.
Yeah.
So I don't love that. All right. What else do we have here? I mean, is there anything else? Like Jets Giants was the big ticket. Vikings Packers. I'll touch on that quick. I think the Vikings win this game. I mean,
no,
scares me enough that I'm not putting money on it, but the way the Vikings have looked, I think they're going to go on a little bit of a run here. And it fucking sucks because that was a team that was a great trade candidate for a lot of teams, right? They were falling. They had a bunch of players people were interested in. Obviously, Kirk Cousins didn't want to be traded and whatever. I guess he had a no trade clause. But Danielle Hunter was a guy I wanted so bad in Detroit on the last year of his deal, making dog shit money. There goes that cat. That's a good place to sit. Fucking idiot.
Dude.
What's wrong with this
Cat.
fucking
I
moron?
acquired this cat.
How'd you acquire it? Via trade?
When she moved in. Yeah, basically. I said the seventh round.
To the seventh.
I built a shed for the cat outside to live, and the cat lives inside. So that's my life. Built a fucking nice shed.
What's the cat's name?
Sheba. She's all right.
I work with a lady named Sheba.
Really?
Yeah, she used to hit on me a lot. Hi, Matthew.
It's unbelievable.
You look so handsome. That's how she talks to me. She also thought I was 45. It's my fucking
No,
life.
dude, I'm hammering the Packers here. The spread's
Really?
Plus 1.5. Yeah, the spread's plus 1.5. 1.5 has been winning all year. I like the Packers. I think the Packers have something going for them. They've been playing like dog shit the past few games. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. They're coming off a bye, or no?
Packers are.
No.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
they are, right?
They are?
Yeah, they're coming off a bye.
Yeah, they had a bye
so
last week.
I think they're going to be well rested here.
Oh, no,
I
they
think they're
didn't.
gonna be ready to
I
go.
thought they shit
No,
the bed last week.
Wait a minute. Yeah, no, they didn't. They played.
No, they lost to the Broncos.
They lost to the
19-17.
Yeah, it was such a forgettable game. They might as well
fuck
just
yeah,
fucking been on a
100%
bye.
we're taking the Vikings. What are we talking about, Jerry?
No,
Jerry.
no. You're picking
Jerry,
a team.
come on.
You're picking a Vikings team that barely beat the Chicago Bears on short rest. They played Monday night
Yes.
on short rest, dude. I'm taking the pack here. I'm eating the cheese today. I don't want to hear nothing. I think they're gonna win.
No, you're going to hear something. I'm fighting you on this. I'm taking the Vikings all day.
I like the Packers, dude. I like the Packers, and I'll tell you why I like the Packers. I think Jordan Love, again, the whole thing. Oh, hold on. The whole thing with the Packers is you thought that. I thought, oh, look who it is. Yeah, we got Trez in the group chat chirping like it's no tomorrow. Fuck that guy. Yeah, he is an Olympic athlete. He's texting me on the side, and he's in the group chat. Jordan Love, I thought going into week one, it was Bears Packers, and I said, "Fuck this! I'm betting the house on the Bears. Jordan Love stinks. It's going to be a whole thing. Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback. Fuck the Packers. We own their organization. Clean them out." No, proven wrong. They have a lot of weapons. They have Romeo Doubs. Aaron Jones is playing today, and he's kind of healthy-ish. I hope. I don't know. I'm starting him in fantasy. We'll see what the deal is, but I think. Where's this game? Is this game at what is it? I don't. What's the name? What's the name of their stadium? It's a nice
Lambeau
stadium.
Field, Jerry. Lambeau Field.
Oh, it's no, not the Packers. I know fucking Lambeau. I'm saying, what's the name of the
Vikings?
the
U.S.
yeah,
Bank.
the dome.
U.S. Bank Stadium.
Where is it? Is it at Lambeau or is it there? It's at Lambeau.
I just told you it's at Lambeau.
Oh, I thought you were correcting me on
No,
where the
no, it's at
Packers play
Lambeau.
football.
It's at
Thank
Lambeau.
you. Okay, so it's at Lambeau. Game's at Lambeau. They're going into the frozen tundra. I telling you right now, I think the Packers win this game. And I'm probably going to lose because I haven't won a fucking bet all season, but the Packers are on my ticket.
I need to win some bets. I need to win some. I'm down. I'm down so bad.
I'll
Here's the
tell you
ticket.
what.
Ready? I'm going to give you guys a ticket. Ticket is Jets money line. We're taking Jets money line. We're taking Texans spread. We're taking Packers money line, and we're taking what was the fourth? Where's that other 1:00 game? Colts money line. That's the ticket right there. 4-pick 1:00. We're gonna take the Chiefs. But
Run through that again for me.
Window. It's Jets money line.
Jets money line.
Jets money line. Texans -3.5. Packers money line. Colts money line.
Okay.
But
The Colts. You like the Colts over the Saints here?
Colts are playing the Saints. Saints
Gardner
are in trouble.
Minshew.
Colts have been playing like very well, honestly. As long as they don't play the
Colts
Jaguars, they've been
Colts
playing.
are looking. That's two different trends in two different directions. The Colts are trending upwards with Gardner Minshew under center, looking okay. Now that Jonathan Taylor's back, and they have a decently solid receiving core with Pittman and then that rookie kid. I forgot his name, but I have him starting on one of my fantasy teams. Change that to
Josh
Texas
Downs.
money line if you're putting down the ticket. Yeah, Josh Downs. Yeah, they have. He has some weapons, and we know that Gardner can throw the ball. So can Anthony Richardson, but Anthony Richardson's always going to look to run first. But I think the Colts are looking all right. Whereas with the Saints here, there's a lot of drama in fucking New Orleans right now, and Chris Olave and that whole circus that's surrounding him, and then he's also fighting with Derek Carr at the same time. Kamara he's been around, but not really. Like, I feel like the Colts, the Saints are just they're kind of all over the place here. They have a decent schedule, and it's easy enough for them to squeak out of the NFC South. But I still don't think. I think the Colts are going to go in and win this game.
All right. Well, you convinced me because I just threw in a parlay. Colts money line, Falcons -2.5, Vikings -1.5. Sorry, Jerry, we're opposite sides there. Lock fight, but.
For who? Vikings? Yeah, you're going to lose. Doesn't matter. It's not my business. The Colts are plus money here. Colts money line are plus 112. So, take what you want.
Do we have anything else here on the slate that we like? Patriots, Dolphins. I think the Dolphins spank them. I really want to take Dolphins -8.
I want to see the Patriots win this fucking game. And I never thought I'd say that as a Jet fan. And I could
Why are you saying that?
Boiling. I'm saying that because I think the Dolphins.
Oh, you don't want them getting the first pick?
Oh, there's that. But I also I want the Dolphins. It's more so against the Dolphins than the Patriots. I want to see the Dolphins get exposed. The Dolphins. They said on a part of my take last week. I didn't listen this week, but they're saying on part of my take that the Dolphins are on fraud watch. And I think that, like we were saying at the top of the show, if we were even recording, which I think we were, Dolphins haven't beaten a good team yet. So we're going to see what's going to happen. And
Patriots aren't a good team, though.
Patriots are not a good team. Patriots are not a good team. But if they lose to a bad team handedly,
right,
then, the gloves are off and we know who you are. We're Scooby-Doo in that bitch, and we're fucking taking off your mask with those goddamn meddling kids. You know what I'm saying?
The Dolphins are good in the summer.
Starting to get cold.
This game's in Miami.
No,
it's in Miami. It's like always summer in Miami. My tits are always sweating in Miami. So,
I'll tell you what, though. I'm looking right now. I don't want to jump right into the trade deadline stuff, but Devontae Adams has really been vocal about this. Like, basically since August.
Jets. He's coming.
Now I'm hearing that he misses Rodgers. It's like,
he's coming.
Okay, just do it. Just fucking do it. I like we said, I really do not give a fuck about your draft picks. The Jets had one good first round draft in the last decade. Like, they really just got lucky. They got lucky. Honestly,
Wilson, we had two.
And they had Jermaine Johnson, who I'll give as a good pick so far. So they had a great draft. You think they're going to repeat that?
What's it going to take, though?
I don't
What's
think
it going to take?
2 firsts? I don't care. I really don't care because, like you said, and like we said, like Rodgers is only going to be here for 1 or 2 more years. So, like, the NFL is not for long. There is no future. Get your guys now. Win when you can. I don't care about, like, for example, all the Jets cared about this offseason was the first round pick. Well, guess what? You're 3-3, and the guy hasn't even seen the field. So does it even matter if you had that first round pick? Like, you could have just traded it for a player that would have had some solid impact on the offensive line. You could have used that pick.
No, fuck this. I'm down with this because now we get our first back because Rodgers didn't play 65% of the snaps. Even if he returns, we still get my first round pick because he didn't see 65% of the snaps. So fuck it, ship it out for Devontae Adams. I'm with that. I can endorse that.
I'm not going to miss that pick.
I've
learned the hard way so many times. And like we could go through the list, man. I mean,
well, if the Raiders lose here, you think that happens? Do you think? Because I was looking at the Raiders' schedule, like
he's not happy. It's not far-fetched.
Before all of this, I was looking at the Raiders' schedule and I was like, all right, there's like they can go 500 over the next like 4 weeks, right? Like I believe they'll lose to us, but I also thought they were going to beat the Bears and they didn't. The Bears beat them. So like, if you're the Raiders, are you selling? But like, are they in a position to fire McDaniels? Like, there's so many questions with them, and there's awful vanilla offense. I don't know.
I think that's where they got to start. I think they got to get McDaniels out of there.
But I don't know that they can afford it because they're still fighting John Gruden in that lawsuit with the NFL, right? Because they fired.
That was dumb. I side with Gruden on that one. He should never have.
No,
I don't know what you could have done.
Oh, that was that was a witch hunt.
Yeah.
That was a witch hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, what he said was fucking stupid. Like, I'm not defending any of the shit that Gruden did or said. That's not what I'm doing. But like, you can't also tell me that wasn't a fucking witch hunt. Somebody wanted him there was or maybe the Raiders wanted out of that 10-year. But also, why the fuck would you sign a head coach to a 10-year, $100 million contract? A guy who hasn't coached in years. He literally, it was like 10 years since he coached when they signed
Mark
him.
Davis.
More than that.
Mark Davis and John Gruden were on a coke binge in Vegas after they signed the deal with the
No,
Lakers.
they were probably in a coke binge at fucking P.F. Chang's. You know about Mark Davis and P.F. Chang's, right?
Oh yeah.
You know about this, Vicino?
no.
He's got like an account there or whatever, right? That he just like, he walks in and eats, and then they just send him an invoice at the end of the fucking month.
That's ridiculous.
At P.F. Chang's.
He's the best.
That's hysterical, man.
Also, for legal reasons, that was all allegedly, and Mark Davis, to our understanding, has never done the drug of cocaine. So please don't sue us, Mark Davis. We know you need the money.
Here's the example really quick. The Jets, last 15 first-round picks. D. Milliner, Verdon Golston, Darren Lee, Sam Darnold, Kyle Wilson, Quentin Copels, Calvin Pryor, Mark Sanchez, Mekhi Becton, Dustin Keller, Leonard Williams, Sheldon Richardson. And then you had Muhammad Wilkerson, who was good, Quinnen, who was good, Becton.
Dustin Keller was good.
Dustin Keller was great, and so was Leonard Williams.
For a first-round
he fizzled out.
Yeah. For a first-round pick, and Leonard Williams, 6 overall for a first-round pick, guess what? He plays for the Giants. You know, like, and he never went to the Pro Bowl for the Jets. So
yeah, but since Douglas has taken over, you guys have done well in the first round. You can't tell me Garrett Wilson's not good.
But now all those guys, Matt,
would you rather have
Devontae Adams?
Yeah, but you can't look at it like that, Facino, because before Brad Holmes, I could name you all the Lions first round picks and tell you I wouldn't want such and such, and yeah, sure. But like, since Brad Holmes has gotten here, he's hit home runs in the first round. The only guy that's in question is Jameson Williams. Yeah. And a lot of that is because of a suspension and a torn ACL. That's the only reason really why we're questioning him, because he hasn't been on the field. But like, outside of that, Brad Holmes has knocked it out of the park in all 3 of these drafts. So for me I think it's you value them based on who's doing the drafting. And I got to be fair to Joe Douglas. He hasn't been great in free agency. Like, I'm not gonna call Rodgers like this big font. Like, that wasn't so much credit to the Jets front office.
That was Aaron Rodgers.
Rodgers just wanted
the New York Jets. Yeah.
Yes, that's it, right? And like, Rodgers dictated things. Yes, but like, in terms of the draft, I think Joe Douglas has done a pretty good job. Not phenomenal. He's not the best, but like, overall, I look at a draft like this. You got 7 rounds. Typically, you have 7 picks. You have typically between like 5 and 10 picks, depending on how your trades worked and whatever. If you hit on like 3 of those guys, like if one of those guys or 2 of those guys are a starter for you that year, that's good. That's good, right? Typically, your first rounder and your second or your third rounder, like one of those, 2 out of the 3 of those guys should be a starter. If you could find starters after the third, like if you could find starters on day 3, that's damn good. Now, I don't know if Joe Douglas has done that. Can't tell you I've done that much depth work on Jets front office shit, but I think it depends. But look, in terms of Devontae Adams, yeah, like I'd probably give up a first round for him. I don't think I'd give up two because he's on the back end of his career now too. Like we're starting to see with wide receivers what we saw with running backs. You have a lot of teams that are not so inclined to want to pay these guys after the age of 30. You know, Marvin Jones was just released by the Lions. He had a family.
Maserati
thing.
Marv.
No, different one. That's Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, Jerry.
I'm having a bad day. Great show, bad day.
Anyways, Marvin Jones was just released by the Lions. Played a couple of years down in Jacksonville for you. And he was a Lion before that. He's 34, 35 years old. He was just released by the Lions. You know, he's the oldest skill player in the NFL.
What?
That's what I had heard on a show. Oldest receiver, I think it was. Oldest receiver.
That's incredible.
I
heard he was stepping away from football. I actually thought something was wrong with his family or something.
Yeah, something's and you know what? To give a quick thing, I hope everything's okay with Marvin. Marvin and his wife lost one of their kids while he was playing in Detroit. I don't know how old the baby was. I think it was either a newborn or a toddler, like very, very young kid. And Marvin and his wife lost that baby when he was playing in Detroit. So my heart goes out to that family. They're really, really good people. Everyone that's ever been around Marvin Jones has all said the same thing about him. He's a tremendous guy. His wife is a great lady. So I hope they're doing okay. I know Marvin didn't really have much success here in Detroit second go around, but like class act, loving guy, and I hope everything's okay with them because they've been through the ringer already, and that's just sucks. It sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's like the oldest wide receiver in football right now, and he's 34. Could you imagine saying that? And he just got cut. So like, yeah, I think you're starting to see that in the NFL, man. This league is getting younger. Obviously, it always has been, but like you're seeing it with wide receivers. You're 100% seeing it with wide receivers, and that would be my fear of giving 2 first rounders for Devontae Adams. Is you're going to give up a lot for a guy that's is he still going to produce after this year?
I think it's with him at least. It's the Randall Cobb effect here, where he's going to go where Aaron Rodgers is going to go, and they're going to play and they're going to make magic happen regardless of age. And I think they connect on just this level that others can't do. And I think if they reunite, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be Green Bay circa fucking whatever, but you know, I think they can do something as long as Rodgers is playing under center. I do agree. How old is he? 20, 30?
He's 28 or 29. I don't think he's 30 yet. Do you know Facino? Do you know how old Devontae is? Oh, I think Facino's mic's off.
He's only 30. Oh,
yeah,
30.
Well, that's where the running back falls off a cliff. I feel like with the receiver, you buy an extra 2 years just with that chemistry that you build. But like a 30-year-old receiver, like with Julio Jones, like once he kind of got to like 32, once you take the quarterback away from the guy and you have to rebuild the chemistry, I don't think it's as easy for the guys to do it. And that's what Devontae's going through right now. Yeah. It's very hard, like when you're younger, to build the chemistry with these quarterbacks. But unless you built it, like to go into your 30s with that, you know, to be an elite receiver still is very hard. So I think that like if I was Devontae Adams, I wouldn't even put a Raiders uniform on ever again. Like you want to go to the Hall of Fame, you have work to do, bro. You know, you're not going to the Hall of Fame right now. No. So I would like to see him do 2 more years with the Jets, put up 10 touchdowns a year, and ride off into the sunset, try to win a Super Bowl. That's what I really think that's the best option for the guy.
I don't think that's that far-fetched. I think that might happen.
I think it should happen. Like I said, the players hold so much more. Like, where's his back injury? Fucking pull back muscle, man. Like I've been there. Like Jalen Ramsey, like it's tried and tested. It works. You know, what are you doing? You're 30. You're not going to be in the NFL for long. Go do that. You know, make yourself happy. These guys don't give a shit about you. They're going to throw you in the dumpster when you can't play anymore.
Easily, yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you for your service. Here's a handshake. See you later.
Yeah.
Jersey's not getting retired anywhere. He hasn't been. You know, he left Green Bay at the height. He 2 years in fucking Las Vegas, and if it comes to New York, he's kind of just going to be a flash in the pan. So he doesn't have a legacy. You might as well just go and get what you can.
You go on a playoff run and he has a crazy catch or something. Jet fans are
That
like,
that doesn't warrant. Come on.
If
No.
Devontae Adams wins a Super Bowl with the Jets, he's immortalized. Every player on that team would be immortalized, and I think that's these guys
Yes
have to
and
know that in
no,
the back
but-
of their mind.
it depends, man. It depends. Like, I don't know. Like, if you told me if the Mets actually went to the 2006 World Series and won, right? Like they made it to Game 6, they made it to the NLCS. Everybody remembers. Andy Chavez robs, I think, Scott Rowland of a home
Yeah.
run,
The snow
and then
cone.
throws
Oh,
him
yeah.
out at first base. Like,
It was the
if
greatest
the
play.
Mets win that game, it's not crazy to think that, like, I don't know that Andy's number gets retired, but like
Oh, the guy's throwing the first pitch on fucking
yeah,
opening
like,
day. Like
it's
people
really
stopping him on the
hard
streets,
to-
man.
No,
and
you're
he
not
was
wrong.
a nobody. He
It's
wasn't
it's
good.
Like Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson's not retired, right?
No.
Yeah, but,
No,
that
he's
name,
not.
but everyone
No,
knows that
he's
name.
not retired.
You know, like
Everybody
it's
knows
Yeah,
a big deal.
yeah.
I know what
And
you're
Andy
saying.
But
deserved
Mookie
Andy
was a
deserved
good
it.
player, though. Like, everybody knew Mookie was a very good player. Andy Chavez was like a nobody that came in because of injury. And
Well, you can say it's like David Tyree. What was the only,
Yes,
the only
yes.
time you ever hear David
yes.
Tyree's name is
Yeah, it's
because of
true.
the
David
helmet
Tyree's number wasn't retired.
catch,
You know, it's so much harder in football to retire a number because
You
like,
need to
there's
be
a-
a hall. You need to be a lifer, and you need to be a Hall of
And-
Famer. There's a lot of things. that
and you could
stack up
like
there.
you could be an outfielder. Like in baseball, it doesn't matter what number. You could literally wear anything from 1 to 99. They don't care. Like in football, it's separated by position. So you really, if you're retiring, you know, like I think the Lions just retired Calvin. I know they retired Calvin's. They put him in the Ring of Honor, like, and they retired the number 81. Like, yeah, that's a guy you could say, hey, for the rest of the time, nobody else gets to wear number 81, and that's a fair thing. I was kind of on that. I was kind of in that boat with Matt Stafford too. Like, I was like, I really wasn't happy when Jameson Williams came here and was like, oh, I want to wear number 9. Like, I don't know, man. Let this kick in the balls heal a little. Like, the wound's still fresh, but
Yeah.
you know,
what,
I don't know,
though,
Jared.
Matt?
What?
Andy Chavez hit 306 in 2006.
Yeah, but how
wasn't
many
just
at
that
bats
game.
did he have? How many at bats did he have?
He had He had 400 plate appearances almost.
Did he really?
He was good, and he was
Wow.
good. And when he made that play, I was like, of course, because Andy was making.
He got cut the
plays.
next year.
He got cut 2 years later, but he was making plays that's like that's the plays that you need from random guys that
Yeah.
got you to a World Series. So it's
I have
really
that-
a shame for that guy.
I have that
Like,
picture framed. It's not down here. My best friend Nick, he gave me that, and it's signed and everything, and it's him catching that ball. That's like my most vivid sports memory of my entire life. Like I've never seen anything crazier than that. That was like, yeah. But anyway, I digress here. Do we have anything else? We're going over an hour here. You guys got anything else? Or you want me?
I think it's time to watch the games. It's
All right,
getting
boys.
close.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much for the comments. This seemed to work well. I think we're gonna move on to an 11 a.m. start. If you guys are good with that, Chris is good. If
Yeah,
you
we'll
guys
talk
are good,
about it.
yeah, we'll talk. But look ahead for the tweets, and we'll tell you when we're putting the show out. So thanks everyone for tuning in. We appreciate it, and go win some bets, everybody. Enjoy.